Hi everyone, my name is Erik and I'm here to share my testimony. My story is really about how as a kid I reached a point where I should have ended my life, but because of the gospel, God saved me, healed me, and gave me a new purpose in Jesus Christ. I grew up in Los Angeles to a Catholic family. We did everything with the church: baptism, Sunday services, and Bible studies. But even with all of that, I didn't have a personal relationship with God, and I didn't understand the gospel at all, and why the church was so hung up on sin. My relationship with the church and God changed though, when I moved from LA to Bloomington. It was in Bloomington that my family invited a friend and her family to stay with us. And during that time, I experienced a deep abuse: physical, emotional, and sexual. The daughter used me for their own pleasure. And as a result of that experience, I felt that something was taken from me, something that no child should ever experience. On top of that, my father regularly beat me up, leaving marks all over my body. Things got so bad that the police got involved. My father went to jail, and even though my mother was innocent, she was also taken to prison, simply because she was married to him. After that, my siblings and I, we moved constantly through the foster care system, house to house, school to school. We never felt like we belonged. People took care of us mostly for the money, and because we were always moving, we didn't have friends or a place to call home. Eventually, my grandmother came out of retirement to bring our broken family back together, and later my mom was released from prison. But the damage was already done, and I started questioning everything that I was taught about God, especially about how God was good. I asked myself, if God was so good, why did He allow so much pain in my life? As a junior high school student, I brought my questions to the nuns at the Catholic church I attended for Friday Bible studies. I asked about the reliability of the Bible and even the existence of God. But instead of helping me, they told me I was a lost cause. And after that, I decided I didn't need God. I would define life on my own terms. From high school into junior year of college, I chased everything that the world told me would make me happy: relationships, money, success, grades, a promising future. It wasn't immediate, and funny enough, before I got all of that, I checked out our church in my freshman year of college because I was lonely and I wanted friends. But God wasn't the focus at all. It was about these things that people, social media, and the world said I should get, and I got those things. But even with everything I thought that I needed, that they told me that I should go and get, I still felt empty, lonely, and lost. In my junior year of college, I felt like I was sinking in quicksand. Nothing I grabbed onto could save me or make me whole. I felt like life was just a constant struggle. During that time, a friend challenged me to reconsider what I believed. She knew my background, and we had a close relationship to the point where she called me out on the life I was living, saying it was not good at all, and what I was doing was causing her and others pain. She encouraged me to examine my relationship with God and the questions I had about God, the Bible, and the gospel. So I did. By chance, I got an email from our church group that I checked out my freshman year, and I reconnected with many mentors who listened to my doubts and showed me that belief in God was not blind faith, but that there were real, logical, and historical reasons to trust the scriptures and the gospel. But even after realizing that Christianity was reasonable, I still struggled. If God were good, why did He allow so much suffering? Everything changed when I went to a winter retreat and heard a testimony from someone who had also suffered deeply, struggling with connecting with others and their own pains. They explained that even though they tried so many things to fit in and feel like they belonged, they themselves were empty, lonely, and lost, and had a pain inside that could not be filled by what they were pursuing. It was also through this retreat and talking with others that I was able to reflect on what sin is: the decision to reject God, the source of all goodness and purpose. And suddenly it made sense. For the first time, I understood that God didn't orchestrate my pain. No, sin did. Human sinfulness did. People chose their own way rather than God's. The source of all goodness and purpose was rejected, and as a result, I experienced that sin from the people that made that choice to reject God. it was the family friend that used me or my father's abuse. They chose to reject God and what He wanted to do in their lives, and instead chose what they wanted to do. But it wasn't just them that sinned. I realized that I was guilty too. I wasn't as innocent as I thought. I was broken too. I may have justified in those sin moments in the past with phrases like, oh, if I make enough money, more money, I can give it to my family. Not considering that in my work, I may be hurting somebody who has a family that they themselves are trying to support with that job through the abuse that I did. I may have said that I just wanted to show my love for the person I'm in a relationship with, when in truth, I was suffocating my partner by not trusting her because I was insecure about being single, which if I were single, then to the world, in my mind, meant I was unlovable. I had caused pain emotionally in relationships, academically through cheating and cutting corners, and at work through selfish ambition. I was a sinner, just like the people who had hurt me. But the beauty of the gospel that I heard on that winter retreat was that Jesus knew the pain I went through as a kid from those who sinned against me. Because He experienced it all on the cross. He experienced what it was like to be used by others for their own desires, as people tried to use Him for food, political maneuvering, or even healing, with no thanks at all. He experienced what it was like to be physically harmed, as He Himself, upon being arrested, was beaten, whipped until His flesh was torn, and His arms pierced with nails. He experienced what it was like to move from place to place, not feeling at home, like me, because He had no home to rest His head. The beauty of the gospel that I heard was also knowing that Jesus also took on the pain that I caused onto others, onto Himself on the cross. How I caused emotional pain, abused my authority and power at work, and cheated for academic success, from the ways in which His disciples and the emotional drama they caused Him, the abuse of the Romans and Pharisees authorities for success in their own standings, and many more examples. I can go on and on. He experienced that similar pain. The beauty of the gospel that I heard was that Jesus, God in the flesh, experienced all that sin that others caused unto me and the sin that I caused unto others, and He still offers forgiveness as a gift to everyone, even a sinner like me. All I had to do was admit my sin, confess it, and trust that Jesus' sacrifice on the cross was enough. Not rituals, not earning it, just surrender. At that retreat, when I heard the gospel and the invitation to accept Jesus as my Lord and Savior, I said yes. I confessed that I was a sinner who needed grace. And from that moment, everything began to change. Instead of living only for myself, chasing success, pleasure, and approval, I began living for God. The suicidal thoughts, the hopelessness, the emptiness, God replaced all of that with joy, peace, and purpose. Today, I am happier than ever. Not because my life is perfect, and not even because I'm perfect or good, but because I know Jesus. I know that He's perfect and good. And I know that He loves me. He understands me because He went through all that I went through and all the sin of the world, but still came out on top and said that His victory over death and sin was not for Him, but for everyone who trusts in Him. He invites me to love others the way He has loved me, and there's nothing more fulfilling than that. Day by day, I wake up with a purpose that is greater than what I worked for in the past. A life fulfilled more beautifully than anything I strived for, with love that never fails. I should have died as a kid, but because of the gospel, I'm alive and I'm living my life for Jesus Christ. Thank you.